Welcome to Girlfriends of a Certain Age. I'm Jessica,
I'm Fleshay.
and today we are very excited to talk about the ultimate glow up in midlife, setting boundaries. I don't know about you, but on my Instagram feeds, I get nothing but weight loss drugs and skin creams and flattering pants and all the things. And, sure, all that stuff is fun, but really the makeover that we know is going to be a game changer for us is setting limits and setting boundaries. Because you know what? Boundaries are beautiful. Boundaries are hot. Boundaries are in. And it's the thing that everyone wants, but not everyone knows how to do. So you and I are going to dive into this hot topic. How's that sound, Shay?
Yeah, you know what I wanted to add in too is boundaries are sexy. And
Mm,
I think so many people are so afraid of this conversation. And I'm going to be the first to admit, I was hella afraid of this conversation. I used to think that ladies of a certain age were mean, aggressive, kind of scary, would just steamroll you and just be like, I don't care.
yeah.
And now I see why. Part of it is because I was coming from a place of, oh, I need to please everybody. I need to be pleasing and kind and sweet and agreeable and a little bit invisible
Oh,
to
yeah.
make my way in the world, to be safe and be okay. And then there were these ladies who were like, nah, girl, you are wasting your time and energy. I'm going to be me, you be you. And I thought it was mean. I thought it was aggressive. So if you can relate to that in any way, share us. Hey, Mona, welcome. Tell us what you think about this because
Yeah.
this is part of that shift, that transition of
Yeah.
becoming into our true selves, this stage of life. So I'm going to plant that seed that boundaries are sexy, that
Ooh, I love it.
boundaries
Yeah.
are like can provide pleasure, can make us happy, and can actually strengthen our bonds between people.
Yeah.
And so that is what I am here. That's what I'm a stand for today.
I love that. I mean, really, boundaries are what creates real intimacy. It's what creates true relationships because we let people know what we like, what we don't like. And if we're always just the yes person, no one really gets to know who we are. And to your point, I was thinking about this topic this morning and remembering back to being in my 20s, especially, even in my 30s. Feeling like I had to just go with the flow no matter what was happening. I would remember that I would get, like trapped in a conversation with someone and not know how to excuse myself. Just feel like I was cornered, right? And not have the wherewithal to just say, "Oh, excuse me, I need to go check on something." Just whatever you need to do to get out of that situation. It felt so rude to go against the flow, to decline an invitation. So I was saying yes to way too many things. Now, the liberation, the pleasure of saying no, the pleasure of saying no, unless it's a hell yes.
Hell yes. Yes, I feel you. As you were talking, I was flashing on, especially in my 20s, like relationships or dynamics where I'm like, how do I get out of myself? We've been dating for a few months. How do I get rid of this person? I guess I'll just stay another 3 years. Well, that was my MO back in the day, which
Yeah.
is to stay too long, to pretzel myself up, to just try to make do with what I got, as opposed to stand up straight, shake off all the nonsense and the people who were not the right ones for me,
Right.
and feel safe and confident going it alone and being like, I can do better because I want to put me first.
Yes. And if we're rewarded to please people, then every time there's something wrong, we're going to think, what can I do better? What can I do differently? And we're going to just work something to death until it's so obvious. I was the same way. Breaking up with people or, breaking it off if it wasn't a hell yes was so hard. It was so terrifying. Poor people, I'm sure I was giving all kinds of crazy mixed signals and doing all kinds of passive aggressive stuff because I did not know how to assert my needs and boundaries. And I love now looking at and re-examining why those middle-aged women's get that kind of stereotype of being the grouchy lady who's just dour and just says what she wants and has no filter. Who does that serve actually to make that a bad stereotype, right?
Yes, the people who want her to they wanna snap her over their knee and have her cook and clean and do their will.
Exactly. Because if these older wise women are actually saying, from my experience now, from my lived life, I actually think this is true. I actually disagree with this. I don't want to do that. That's that's evolution. That is women taking a stand, and that is very threatening to
Yeah.
a lot
It
of people.
it's been a big healing for me to forgive myself for holding that stereotype too of the cranky, crusty old lady who, you would just see her coming. And now it's me. Now I'm that lady. And like just like when I became a mom, I had to forgive myself for all the judgments I had on the way people parented before or, all the things. I think once we get to a stage we start to understand it more and we're looking at those stereotypes and our relationship to it, and I think that's a big step is to forgive ourselves. So I forgive you, Fleshay, for judging those ladies who probably had to fight their way to hold that stance, right? And the culture, I mean, our generation, we are talking about it out loud. You and I made a whole podcast about it. Welcome to all of our girlfriends here on the call today, live
Yes.
with us, because we know we are touching a nerve and we are going to keep talking about this and we're going to take culture along with us.
Yeah.
And of course, you and I are raising yeah, 4 young men between the two of us. And we're showing them women empowered, and we're talking about consent, and we're talking about mutual relationships, being generous with each other, and standing in our own needs, and being graceful about others. I really hope that the daughters that are coming up, behind us will be able this be a special conversation of like, I'm free. It'll be hopefully a lot more normalized that they
Yeah.
can say what they need, say what they want, set boundaries, and be going their whole lives and not be waiting until they're 50 like us
Yeah.
to push a lot of that off.
I had a conversation with my son because he was bike riding in a park and he was actually setting up a little jump. And this older woman, like an adult woman, came up and was starting to chat him up. And he said that she wouldn't stop talking and he felt a little trapped. And it was really empowering for me to let a young person know you do not have to just stand there and go along with this. You can absolutely excuse yourself. You can leave this situation if it starts to get uncomfortable or just starts to feel like it's too much. And it was really wonderful to pass that wisdom on to my son. So I think both sons and daughters, and however people identify, the stronger we can get with our boundaries. It's a muscle, it's a skill set. And I also want us to show it off to each other. Like, I want you and I today, and if there's any girlfriends in the chat right now who want to share something that you did recently. So I'll go because I have one just top of mind was I have, different clients, and I had one who had to keep rescheduling very last minute. And I realized, oh, wait, I have this self scheduler. And this is exactly the point of doing that. Right. And so I just reminded her with love that, hey, remember, you can self schedule, you can reschedule, you can redo what you need to do. The old me would have held a hand, walked someone through it, felt responsible. Right. The new me was like, I actually have this technology so that this relationship can be cleaner, so that I am not doing your work and also treating you like the independent person you are, that you can do this yourself. It's one of those things that the old me would have really struggled with to do, and the new me was like, oh, this is exactly what you need to do, and it doesn't involve me.
Exactly. So the big question is, did she reschedule?
Not yet, but it's out there. It's out there. This all just happened, so we'll give her
Oh,
a
okay.
grace period, and we'll give her a little time. And there may be some educating of like, this is how you do this, and a little hand holding. But the idea of following through for yourself and for the boundaries that you have set up is such a rewarding feeling. Like, I knew I wanted to share it with you today. I was like, I need to share that I did this thing where there was that moment where I was like, I could do the old me. I could do the sort of what feels easier. but doesn't actually feel in alignment with who I am now. When you do that, you like go against what feels honest and you're like, "Oh, I did the thing." And then it came back to bite me. This felt so honest. This felt so like clear that I just wanted to give myself that win. So for girlfriends listening, there's subtle moments, right? It's not always this like super clear boundary of like, you are out of my life, right? Those things happen too. But it's these very small micro decisions that we make every day about what we're going to say yes to, what we're going to say no to, what decision we're going to make, all the things. So I just wanted to share my little micro win.
I love that. I love that because it's such a big deal. I'm sorry, I think I'm a little bit choppy. My phone is saying that my internet is unstable, so I don't know what's up with that. So
You're coming,
hopefully
you're coming through okay to me.
okay,
So
good
yeah.
deal. Good deal. Well, and I love that because especially around your business, the way you make your money needs to be clean, needs to be clear, and it needs to give you more than it takes. Otherwise, it's just a job and you're a slave to the way you make money. And I think at this stage of life, it's very important we figure out ways to empower ourselves. And I think this is the business coach in me coming through that we
Please
empower
lay it on us.
ourselves,
Free business
because
advice.
I'm
Bring
like
it
getting this
on,
vision.
Felicity.
I'm getting this vision of like being held by the scruff of the neck, like the way like a mama dog would carry around her babies. But I think when humans we can get ourselves in that dynamic and it feels so bad. We're just kind of dangling, waiting for the client or the boss or the organization to do with us what they will.
Mm,
And some of us are in situations where we can't fully step away from that. So I want to honor that. But
mhm,
I also think, and this is something that I'm stepping into a little more, this
mhm,
idea that we don't really retire, that we figure out ways to keep on earning money into our 80s and 90s, whether
mhm,
it's, income from a property or from dividends from investments or some side hustle we've got going, whether it's consulting or selling products or sharing our wisdom in some way. I think it's really important. So if you're hearing this and you're
yeah,
feeling like, "Oh no, I can't have freedom around it," maybe you open up some little side channel so you can. Because you bringing that up just felt like a big bright light was shining on it. That
yeah,
too many of us feel disempowered around the way we earn our money. And you and I are both entrepreneurs. We run
yeah,
our own businesses. We set our schedule. We take a week off every month, both of us.
yes,
I think not every woman is there yet, but I
right.
want to encourage them to do so, to get
And
some freedom.
And I think every day is an opportunity. And I know that when I was a yes person, every day felt like a burden. Every day felt like, what am I going to cave into? What am I going to have to say yes to that doesn't feel in alignment? And now I actually really feel like it's an opportunity every day for me to say, what do I actually get to say no to? What do I get to draw a boundary about? What do I get to educate people around me about? And
Yeah.
the burden doesn't feel all on me. And that is such a relief because then suddenly you have this time and you have this perspective where you're able to look a little bit beyond yourself. So the irony is by actually stating what you need and stating what's okay and what's not okay, it's clear, it's done. And then I think you get to be a more engaged person in the world around you
Yes.
rather than feeling beholden and obligated and bitter and resentful and that whole funky cycle that, oh my God, when I think back, I spent decades in that, not even understanding, not even connecting why I would blow up once in a while, right? Not even knowing why I was so mad or sad. And now just being able to catch it faster, right? And it doesn't mean that we sometimes miss a thing, but I think we're so much more aware that we're like, "Ooh, oh, I said yes when I shouldn't have," or, "Oh, I didn't handle this in the way I wish I could have." I think we're so much more aware of that, and it is life reinforcing. So when you were talking about the idea that this is really the glow up and the makeover that really makes us shine at this age, it's so
Amazing.
true, right? Like no skin serum can kind of give you the glow of like knowing where you stand.
Well, also, as you're talking, what I'm really aware of is that you're out of survival mode when you can kind of pop your head up, take a deep breath, actually look around your life, see what's there, see where you're a yes, see where you're a no, have time, make a decision, and then say the thing or make the boundary or walk away. It gets us out of survival mode. And
Yeah.
again, who wins when we are hunched over, pretzeled up, not looking around, looking for where am I going to have to fight for my fight for my needs right now, or fend something off, or not get what we need.
Right.
Right. We're not in the moment, we're not present, we're not awake and aware at the wheel of our lives, and that's our number one job. We
Yeah.
can't do anything else unless we're present in our bodies and we know who's around us and why they're around us and what are we pouring our energy into. So I love that. I mean, it really turns our life into a walking meditation. And that
Mhm.
is what the monks have been telling us. They have to go and, hide out in caves to, to get the quiet and the peace, but you and I, we want to be in the world
Mhm.
and, engage, but still be ourselves. And I think I love that idea of that. That is the natural glow up. And it's really the glowing from within,
Yes. Yes.
right? And so we don't have to be so cranky and crusty. We can also just say with love, no, I don't like that.
Absolutely. And if it's perceived as cranky and crusty and you know that you genuinely said it in a caring way, that's a stereotype that is not yours to own.
Yeah.
If you have a little crust around the edges and you are being cranky, maybe reconsider your delivery. But, when I work with women in communication and public speaking skills, that's something that comes up a lot is like, how do I assert myself without being labeled a bitch?
Yeah.
And it is a tightrope, and women do have to find this balance in order to do that. But I just remind women time and time again, if you know that you are mindfully communicating what you need someone else to do, what you need someone else not to do, and they're giving you a pushback, that is not yours to carry, right? That is them pushing back against a societal norm that unfortunately we have to manage and work with, but it is not us. And that's what makes me so excited about this age girl is I feel like so many women of a certain age are all of a sudden having the air in their tires to look around and go, "Hold up." And we actually get a gift from menopause, believe it or not, because in that shift of our hormones, we get oftentimes recalibrated to look around more and to look outside of ourselves and to become more self aware. So, what a golden opportunity it is for us to really step in to this empowering time in our lives. And so just anytime you're getting a little bit of that pushback, just know that that's like not yours to carry and to keep in alignment with the people, with the friends, with the organizations that are reinforcing what we are talking about. And I feel this tide growing. I see more and more of this all the time here on
Oh, yeah.
Substack, here with my girlfriends. It's just, oh, it's so exciting. I'm so excited for what we can do.
It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time, and I just see so many other women raising their hand and saying, "Yes, me too." I mean, the fact that we've got girlfriends on the call with us live right now. Mona says, "Being typed as a bitch is also a way to neutralize righteous anger."
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. It's okay to be a bitch sometimes. It's just right. Thank you, Mona.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Mona. And you're so right. I think what I'm getting to is a lot of times women, when they're asserting themselves at work, when they're being assertive, they're actually accused of being aggressive.
Right.
And they're not being aggressive, right? They're not being a bully. They're not being disrespectful. They are asserting themselves with righteous anger, right? And yeah, there might be some times too where you have to straight up be aggressive, right? Sometimes that is the role you need to play. So I agree with you. And yes, Mona says I totally see what you're saying too. But thank you for bringing that up. I think tied to the stereotype of the cranky crone is this sort of manipulation about feeling angry. Oh, women who start looking around in midlife, don't get cranky, don't get angry. And I think so many of us are looking around going, WTF? What is going on here? We have so much to be angry about. So, how do we channel that into things that are going to be really helpful for us and move the needle in our lives? That's
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think part of too why the outside world will get grumpy or label us
Mm,
is that we're changing and humans are not wired for change. And if you're my colleague and you've always been the yes lady over in the corner,
mhm,
and you all of a sudden say no, then that I have to look at that too. Oh, have I been taking advantage? I think there's something about that too. And that's so many of us. And that's why so many of our relationships are changing at this stage of life. People are exiting from my life just saying, oh,
mhm.
Flaché's kind of scary and intense. I got to go. And a lot of them were not intense conversations of like, I hate you. I've got to run away from you. It was just like, quiet. I'm going to go elsewhere. And I let them. Because I realized, well, now I have a life filled with people who think I'm awesome and they love the new me and the
Yeah.
changes they're seeing in me. And they're calling me out for it. Like, I want to do more of that too. And I think that's so powerful and potent. And I want to encourage us, all of us, it is scary to change. It is scary to realize I just don't feel like I'm the same girl that I was because we're not. We're
Mm,
not. We are shifting, we're changing. You said something to me months ago about your recipe changing, like with the hormones and
yes.
who you are. And I was like, I really resonate with that. And I'm thinking a
Mhm.
lot about my recipe is changing. And I'm gonna keep stirring the pot and adding stuff and taking stuff away.
Right?
Because what am I gonna be? Am I a souffle? Am I a stew? It's not quite clear yet. But I'm in process. I wanted to share one that I had, and part of it is thanks to you, actually, girl. I had me a difficult conversation last week that I was not expecting. It happened cold.
Mm,
I
okay.
wasn't prepared. I didn't see it coming,
Yeah.
and I did okay.
Huh?
I didn't break into a cold sweat. I didn't run away. I didn't do any of the things I might have done even like 3, 5 years ago.
Mhm.
So it was really interesting.
Mm,
And so I heard it. I won't share all the details because the whole story is not mine to share,
sure, sure.
but I got some feedback from a loved one,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Okay, didn't see that coming." And I
Mhm.
just said, "Well, just give me a minute. Hold on. Let me just think about this."
Yeah.
And I just did it right then and there, girl, and I started flashing on that, you have a beautiful handout that you
Yeah.
gave me a couple of
Yeah,
months
yeah.
ago about difficult conversations, and I was like, "What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" And I just was like, so my
Mm,
first thought was, okay, well, my first thing that I said was, okay, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And I
mm,
repeated back what I heard. And I said,
mm.
some of this is feeling true, and some of it I'm having a different perspective. Are you open to hearing my perspective? Girl, I just said it and we processed it in the moment.
Wow.
And it's still a healing. It's still healing, but
Yeah.
whoa, it made us so much closer. We had such a
Mm,
strong conversation. It was so potent. And I think both of us came away like, gulp. We didn't know we could do that. And it was really beautiful. I mean, I knew I could do it, but I wasn't
yeah.
expecting it in this moment. And so
Yeah.
there was kind of this amazement of like, right, I can make the boundary and talk about a glow up because all of a sudden I
Mm,
realized I had some stuff about that I needed to process out loud with them too.
yeah.
But it hadn't occurred to me that this was the time and, I just hadn't come up for me yet.
Yeah.
But it cleared some gunk out. I got to like clear out my emotional or psychic closet, if you will,
Yes.
and it cleaned up the relationship with this other person. Girl, talk about a glow up. That
Oh my god.
was powerful.
Oh my gosh, hats off to you, Felicia. I'm so proud of you for doing that and doing that in the moment without any, preparation, right? Sometimes these difficult conversations just kind of pop up like that. I love that you kind of took a moment. You get an A plus for like repeating back what you heard and then also being comfortable with differentiating yourself, right?
Yeah.
That you were like, I hear you and I can see your point of view. I also have this point of view. Can we try to bridge the gap here? Can we try to meet somewhere? And that's also such a beautiful, hopeful message that we aren't a binary. There's not a yes and a no. There's not always a right and a wrong, but oftentimes there's a gray area where we have to meet in the middle, even if we feel, you know, Very, very right. And that will absolutely open up the opportunity to understand people more. So hats off to you for like taking that on in the moment and not sort of resorting, like it sounds like you maybe could have, to kind of an old MO, but like really being available to take it in and then also being available to stand up for your side of things.
Right. I tapped thank you for saying that. I tapped into a vulnerability of, well, this is somebody I respect, so I want to hear their perspective.
Right.
Being able to hear feedback about ourselves is hard.
It's
It's not
hard.
easy. And so I was able to do that, and I trusted that they could hear my feedback about what my perception was. The other thing that this was maybe one of the first times since reading the book by, Mel Robbins, The Let Them Theory,
Mm,
which is a little bit complicated, so
yes,
I'm not here to, like,
right.
hold up
We have
Mel like
learned
she's
that there
the
are some copyright issues with
yeah, a
another
few.
right author. So yes, yes,
But she did very succinctly teach this concept
right,
of stop trying to change the other person.
right.
And so this was the first time I really, really, really got to do that in real time of like, okay, they're upset about this thing.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to let them because we all deserve to be angry, whether it's a righteous anger, like what's happening in the world or like an interpersonal hurt or whatever the thing is,
yeah,
to let each other be ourselves. And I think that also, I'm just getting this right now. I think it allowed them to let me have my perception. And they weren't trying to twist me into only
yeah,
their worldview was right. The
right.
truth is, we were both right. In their
Yeah,
mind, they're right. And in my mind, I'm right. But if we want to come together and still have a connection and be close, we have to figure out a way to do that and be differentiated. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is so great. Well, girlfriends listening, I don't know if you've had kind of like a boundary win. Have you had something that's made you glow up inside? Feel free to share it here in our live chat or in the replay if you're watching it here on Substack or YouTube or Spotify, all the places that we love to broadcast, because it's really, I think, a fun exercise. Like, as much as we love sharing about, whatever skincare or product or beauty tip we learn because we are inundated with these things. How fun would it be to actually be like, oh, can I tell you about this hot boundary I set this week? Can I tell you about this difficult conversation I had? Like, how cool would that be to incorporate into more of our day to day life? If we could normalize it, imagine how much more comfortable we would feel every time we need to say the hard things, right?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, as we're talking, I'm realizing it really is a form of skincare because the more we work through life to tight and like pulled in and like pursed and ready to pounce and get you, our cortisol is up, our stress hormones are up, like,
Right,
and I'm learning a lot more about our fascia, this whole like entire network throughout our entire body,
right.
wrapping around our muscles. That really does help us hold us in our shape. Like
Mm,
my kids know they can tell when mom is walking around upstairs and they can tell when dad is walking around upstairs. And part of that is like in our fascia, how
mm,
we hold ourselves, our gait, how hard we hit the ground with our feet. And everything about us is like that too. And I think the more we lighten up, the
yeah,
more we let go, the more we open up physically,
yeah.
the more we can hold our head high, allow all of the lymph in our body to drain, I just think everything about it. It really does change the way we look and certainly the way we feel. So I would love to know how girlfriends are rocking with that, or if they resonate with that, or they think it's all nonsense. Please lay it on us and tell us, what you think.
Because that
Because
makes me think of the body keeps the score, right? That even if we, don't understand it psychologically, our body might hold, some of the bitterness or the frustration. So I think that is absolutely true. You see with PTSD victims how much body work they do to release parts of, past trauma. We can see the correlation with diseases. So I think also as girlfriends of a certain age, I think that this is like really a health concern for us to be able to assert ourselves, to be able to set limits and set boundaries in a way that feels really good and healthy for us and our body. So that we can, be around a long time to enjoy all the
I'm
things.
thinking about our hearts when you say that, right? Like we're at the age now women start having heart attacks and what's all that about? Stress and strain and a lot of unfinished business. So
Yeah.
girlfriends, let's finish up some business. Let's
Yeah.
close out some tabs. Let's
Yeah.
forgive ourselves, which honestly tends to make it easier to forgive other people and let them be themselves.
Oh my gosh. The more I do this work for myself, the more forgiving I am with everyone else. It's fascinating. And I can tell who is still struggling because they are so impatient with the people around them. And it has given me more patience and more understanding. So that's a really good point too. It will give you a lot of empathy for the people around you who are kind of on their own journey with this. So I just love it. I think that this is a kind of power that we, as girlfriends of a certain age, are in a unique position to share and to lead. I think this is where we actually get to lead the generations into, new ways of relating and being with one another. This is a gift that we can
Talk
do.
about being on purpose. If that's, I mean, if we could make that be our purpose. Oh, it makes me feel emotional. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think
I
that
will. I want to do that with you. I want to do it with Mona and who else is on here? Everybody, all the
all the
people.
people, all the people. Let's do it, ladies. Let's do it. Let's do it and again, it doesn't have to be in some grand way. It can be in small daily exercises. That is always how we build up our muscles. We know this, we do the small little weights and over time you look around and you go, "Hey, look at this." So yes, I want to do it. That's what we're doing. I think that's what we're trying to do right now. And that's the
We're
best
going
that
to keep it up.
yes.
Girlfriend,
Well,
thank you so much for being my girlfriend. Thank you to all the girlfriends here on the chat. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for just showing up,
yeah.
being you, being awesome. We'd love to hear your perspective on this in any way you feel like sharing it. And we'll see you next week when we go live again. Bye.
Bye.